So I want to talk a little bit about love, because in the most succinct understanding of non-duality, which I really, really love Rupert Spira's formulation, the nature of our being is peace and happiness, and we share our being with everyone and everything. So it's not really our being at that point, it's just being, but it's the way we use language, so that's the way he languages it. But he also defines love as the recognition of our shared being, which is a really different definition. Like, if you ask most people what's love, I mean, we probably go to either some kind of deep, close relationship, right? Like, we love our parents, we love our partners, we love our kids, we love our pets, we love our close friends. Like, it's kind of a proximity understanding of love. Like, well, you like somebody or you like something, and then if you like it more, then it turns into love, right? And if you like it a whole lot, then you're bordering on love, and then you love it, like, or love them. Is that kind of a quantitative understanding of like and love? So love becomes a special and unique kind of relationship that we reserve for particular people or animals. And I think that's the common understanding, right? Does that seem accurate? Okay. But from a spiritual perspective or a non-dual perspective, or maybe a religious perspective, like many religions take this perspective, love is just the relationship we have with everyone and everything if we're awake. It's completely impersonal. The nature of our being is peace and happiness, and we share our being with everyone and everything. And love is the recognition of that shared being. So when we recognize, when we experience that my being is your being, we feel love. So it's completely impersonal. And if you look at the teaching of traditional Buddhism, the teaching of metta, which is often translated as loving kindness, so it's an aspect of love. The whole point of practicing metta is to learn how to have that for everybody, for all beings, right? We start metta practice with ourselves, loving ourselves. And then we move to the people that we already know that we love, people that we are close to. But then we don't stop there. What do we do next with metta practice?
Neutral.
We go to people that are neutral, right? Just whoever, anybody. And then where do we go?
People we don't like.
People we don't like. So we completely disassociate love from like, right? we're not trying to like learn to like people that we don't like. Metta has nothing to do with that. It doesn't say we have to like them. It says we have to love them. So this is the same understanding that love is not a whole lot of like. Love has nothing to do with like. Love is completely undifferentiated. Like is totally differentiated. You know? Somebody brings you an ice cream cone, you like them. Somebody's dog poops on your lawn, you don't like them. It's all conditional and it changes all the time. But love, we love the dog. We love the person walking the dog. We love the person bringing us the ice cream cone. We love the person who made the ice cream cone. We love the person that knocks into us and knocks the ice cream cone over. If we recognize that we share our being with them. And sharing our being isn't conditional. It doesn't change depending upon anybody's actions or words or what they do or what they say or how we feel about it. So it's just a recognition. You know, I used to try to do metta practice, and I didn't understand this. I don't know if it wasn't explained to me right, or I just didn't get it. Because you know how people can like try to teach us stuff, and if we're not ready to hear it, we don't hear it. It just goes right through. So I was trying to do metta for people that I didn't like, the difficult people, thinking that I had to like them. Like I was wishing them happiness because I was trying to learn how to like them. And there was no way that some of those folks, I was going to like them. You know? I mean, it just was never going to happen. So I felt like I was going to be a failure at metta, a failure at being spiritual or whatever. Because I didn't understand. It had nothing to do with that. I didn't need to like them. I didn't need to condone what they did. I didn't need to want to hang out with them. I just needed to love them. In other words, I just needed to see that underneath their actions, which I maybe didn't like at all, or their personality or what they did, they were made of the same being as me. And that's all it takes to love. Or to feel compassion. Or to wish somebody well. I mean, what I realized was, if that person was truly happy, they probably would do a lot less of the stuff that I didn't like. Like wishing them happiness wasn't a bad idea. You know, if the heads of Hamas and Netanyahu and Trump and Biden and all these people, Ping in China, even the guy in Korea, like if they were all happier, imagine if they were really happy, if they woke up, all these people running the world, wreaking havoc on the planet, the heads of all these oil companies. I mean, the list is long, right? Imagine if they all woke up really happy every morning, not angry, not depressed, not projecting, just plain happy. I bet they'd do a much different job running the world. I think that they would do a much better job. So how is it going to hurt to wish them to be happy? Makes total sense. Why hold that back? So I started to understand metta practice in a much better way than when it was first when I was first exposed to it, and I just didn't get it. You know, has anybody done Sufi dancing? No, really, nobody's done Sufi dancing. So, it's kind of cool. We're not going to do it, don't worry. I'm not qualified to teach it. But you kind of form two concentric circles, and then you face the inner circle and the outer circle face each other. And then you rotate in the opposite direction, and every time you come to the next person, you look them in the eye. And you just practice loving them. And then you go to the next person, and you look them in the eye, and you just love them. And you just keep going around, stopping for some period of time. And it's just eye contact, and it's just love is the recognition of our shared being. And you don't know them, but you can see that being, and they can see that being. And that brings up, I mean, at a certain point, it's like everybody's been doing metta for hours together. It just creates that field of love. So that, it's just there. It's what we're made of. It's just that recognition. So, in this understanding, when we look at the nature of ourself, at the nature of I am, we don't find any content. We find nothing. We find the truth that I'm nothing. Awareness or being, it's just empty. It's empty of content. It's empty of any characterization. That sense of I am. But at the same time, that we realize that, we also realize that we're everything. If love is the recognition of our shared being, and we share our being with everyone and everything, then we're everything. There's no separation. We're nothing and we're everything. So that's a pretty cool paradox. So it's not complete or sufficient to get caught or stuck in either one of those paradigms. It's not enough to realize that we're nothing, that our self is basically empty of content. It just is. We also have to then let it connect out into all beings, into the world, and realize that the world and all beings in it are made of what we're made of. That we aren't just the wave, we're the ocean. So every moment of feeling love is that connection. And yeah, we start off and it's limited. It's our connection to love is limited by conditions. That's how we've learned it. That's how we've been brought into it. But if we allow ourselves to feel from our being, our connection to other people, to animals, to trees, to plants, to flowers, there's no limit to it. It doesn't need to be limited by any kind of circumstance or any kind of history. I think we all can find moments in our lives where that spontaneously happens. Whether it happens with people or animals or babies or, whoever. Maybe you're walking down the street and somebody smiles at you, or you smile at them and they smile back, and there's just that moment of recognition. It's like, you don't know that person. And if you tried to talk to them, they might not respond in a positive way. You have no idea. It's not like that smile is an invitation to become their best friend. But there is that moment of just, there's not any separation here. We're the same. So part of the idea behind doing a retreat like this and not being in silence and just hanging out together is to allow that to happen. We didn't, none of us, when we choose our friends or our partners, we're looking for certain characteristics. None of us, the only characteristic that unites us is that we want to do this group together. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can just hang out and love each other. And it's kind of nice to do that and be able to talk and not have to not look at each other and be silent all the time. And, there's a benefit to that, but it's also a benefit to allowing us to be together and be together in friendship and let that happen. And just appreciate each other and let that be okay. So that's why the retreat isn't totally in silence. Because a lot of retreats are. But I don't feel like it dilutes it. I feel like it enhances it. It becomes a lot of the value that we can be together. And there's no need for an agenda. We're just hanging out in friendship. In metta. I remember I did a thing with Ajashanti. I don't remember if it was a retreat or a day long or whatever. That's why I say a thing. But and he was talking about this. And he was talking about being a secret emissary of love. Like that you're like if you were a spy and you were in a foreign country, you were like implanted in that country, and your job was to love everybody without them knowing it. Like he said, that's what we are. That's what this practice is. We're all secret emissaries of love. We're love spies. And we just go around and we love everybody, and they don't know it. They don't need to know it. It's not like you're going to walk up and kiss somebody and say, I love you, because you're going to probably get arrested. You know, like that would be counted as assault. So you do it silently, you do it quietly, you do it secretly. But you're just cultivating that. We're just cultivating that in ourselves. And again, it's not that you have to like that person. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. But we're sort of, it's already in us, but we've blocked it. We've talked ourselves out of it. We've conditioned ourselves not to feel it or not to know it, that it's there. So we're trying to like scrape the rust off of something that's been like frozen with rust and ossified, which is that capacity to just love, that we share our being. So the love is there. It just is. It's not something that we have to do or conjure or practice. But because it's been repressed, because it's been conditioned out of us, we just need to reconnect with it. That sort of easy, intuitive, spontaneous response to another being. That could be the most natural thing. That could be the most baseline thing. You know, when I saw that wolf today, I loved it. I wasn't going to get out and try to dance with it. And I'm sure that the wolf loved me. But if it was hungry, it might try to eat me, you know? But that wouldn't be out of any kind of lack of love. It would just be what its nature is. I feel like the moose are like that too. No. They love us. We love them. But be careful. Be careful. Don't. You know. They have their stomp nature too. Not out of any lack of love. Just that's how they are. They're a moose. Doesn't mean that they don't love you, but they might stomp you. So I'll leave it there for me. I'm curious how this lands.